Hello, everybody, and welcome to F1 Down Under with me, Heidi, and my dad.
Matt.
And we are doing our F1 Constructors Championship predictions.
Get a bit reverse order.
I think reverse order. So, who's your number 10?
I've gone for Haas.
I have gone for Haas. Based on previous years and just because they came 10th last year.
Yeah, I just think losing Gunther, the fact that they're buying most of their stuff from Ferrari, even though they've now got an engineer as their team principal, I just don't think they're going to have enough development in there to do that. That's no discredit to the drivers either. But I just don't. I just think they're going to really struggle this year.
I completely agree with you.
It's going to take a little while for that new team structure to kind of start to pay some fruition.
That's why I put them 10th as well. So, what did you put for 9th?
9. I've gone with Steak Kick Sauber or whatever it is now.
I have also. Well, I've got different from you. I've gone for RB.
Okay.
So different there.
Yeah,
because it's a new dynamics, new ownership of the team. So, and they're pretty close. I thought the lower team. So I thought.
Yeah, I suppose they've got RB have got a new team principal, haven't they? Because Frank Tost left late into last year.
So I thought new dynamics.
But I think they're getting so much stuff from Red Bull. I just think they're probably too strong. I think the Sauber team, they've got some pedigree, but I think they really struggled last year. I don't know how much development they're putting in. I think maybe they're still getting distracted onto the fact that they're going to be the Audi team in a couple of years. So I don't know whether that's impacting them, but that's where I put them at 9.
Well, 8, I put Kick Sauber.
Okay, so. I had Red RB, Visa Cash App RB. I think they've got. I mean, the difference is I think Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo are quite a good driver lineup. I think that probably gives them a little bit of an edge for me over Kick Sauber.
Well, I think Valtteri Bottas is a more experienced. That's what put me over. But it's just they're quite close, I think, as teams. So that one was really hard for me. But
yeah, I think that's the.
And they've just obviously both rebranded, so that one was quite difficult for me.
Yeah.
So
I still think. I mean, I'll put them as 8. I think they might even RB might sneak one higher personally from what my number 7 team is, but.
Well, my number 17 is Alpine.
And that's mine as well.
Just because from last year, I think they scored about this midfield last year. But I think there's other teams that will do better this year than they did last year.
Yeah, I think Alpine are struggling. I think whilst they were still struggling when they had Otmar Safnauer, team principal there, who left at the beginning of last season, was there for the first few races. Then they seem to really struggle. I genuinely think that's going to continue.
I think it's going to struggle this year.
I think other teams that were in and around that area are now better than they were. Again, Gasly can drive on his day, Ocon can drive on his day, but there just seems to be a lack of dynamic, I think, coming out of them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Number 6, I have Williams.
Snap. I've gone for Williams at number 6. I mean, they were 7th this year. I think they've got another year under the belt with James Vowles.
And I think they're going to maybe even do higher. I think it might be a battle maybe for 5th.
Yeah.
So I think they could do better, but I've just put them as a solid 6.
I mean, they've had a couple of extra people started last year in their technical team. Who've got some good pedigree. So I think they've got a really fighting chance. I think Alex Albon's a great driver. The only thing that might drag them down a little bit is if Logan Sargent doesn't keep challenging Albon or getting close to Albon for pace.
Logan needs to step up.
He did at the end of the very last few races at the end of last season. He started to get close. So if he can carry that on, I think that will give them some extra points. But if they don't hit that number 6 spot, I think it's not because of the car.
It's because of the drivers.
It's because they failed to capitalise on it.
So my 5th spot is Aston Martin.
Snap.
Because they finished there last year.
Yeah.
And I think they won't beat the other 4 teams. So I think they're the highest in the midfield. And I think they'll stay there and maybe have Williams
and it might be
them.
close because they had that beginning of last season. They had that real push. They were really quite quick car, and they capitalised on that at the beginning of last season.
But then they went downhill. But
they were struggling towards the end of last season. So, I mean, Alonso will always drive the wheels off the car.
Yeah.
But
even him saying, I can't drive this car. But we don't. That's what I'm predicting.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I guess number 4.
This is an interesting one. I've put Ferrari.
Ooh, okay.
Because I think... Only because I think other cars might jump them.
Well, I've gone for McLaren because I think whilst they're still advancing, they seem to have a quick car at the end of last season. What worries me are that the cars that got quicker at the end of last season was how much development they put into this season's car. Have they put enough in early enough to reap the benefits this season? So, they've got a strong lineup: Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. I'd really like them to do better, but I just think the other 3 teams that I've got in front of them have got too much.
So I put Ferrari because this one was really hard for me because I think they're very close. Because these 4 teams are very competitive.
Yeah. So number 3, I had Ferrari. I'm guessing
I put McLaren because of their development was so advanced and they were gaining on them. So I think they'll have a very quick car. So I think they'll be managed to score points quite quickly.
Yeah.
So even if they capitalise on that, I think they will be able to get in the running of the top 3 very quickly.
I think all of my top 3, so Ferrari at number 3, I think they're, and even McLaren, I think there's potentially a race win in all of those cars this year. We'll have to see how the practice and the testing goes, but I think Ferrari are just too strong for McLaren. I don't think they're as strong as the other 2 teams over a season. I think
but
they're getting better at strategy, but I still think there's a gap in some of the choices that they make. I know they won Singapore last year where they were the only team to win. I hope the development's better. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do.
So for number 2, as much as I would like deep down them to win, I've put them second because I think they're just a bit behind, and that's Mercedes.
Okay.
Because I think they're just a bit developmental behind, and the Red Bull was too quick last year for Mercedes.
So you've got Red Bull at 1, Mercedes at 2. So now I've gone the opposite way around. I think Red Bull will have the quickest car. I don't dispute that, but I think they're going to be in a much more of a battle between Mercedes and Ferrari for points. And I think given that, I think Red Bull's position is more dependent than ever on how Sergio Perez performs. And I still have a question mark around not necessarily how good a driver Sergio is, but the support that he gets from the Red Bull team. So I've put Mercedes as number 1 because I think as a team, and now they've got nothing to lose with Lewis, I actually think that'll give them the edge. I think George and Lewis in a half decent car will score more points over the course of the season. I think Max is going to win a lot of races, but I don't think he's going to win quite as many as he did this year. And I don't think the Red Bull result, them coming second, will really depend on what happens with Sergio.
I think this year it will just be a lot closer because I think they would have learned a lot from the mistakes.
I think you've got Norris. You've got Norris in a quick car can win races. I think both the Ferrari drivers can win races. Both the Mercedes drivers can win races.
And even
I know Checo won a couple, but I think it's so dependent on how he gets that support and where it flows through.
So there are our predictions for 2024 F1 calendar. So this is F1 Down Under. See you later. Bye.
See you later.